Today we're going to look at the best Magic the Gathering cards that will add 2 or more mana. And by best, I mean you can say anything, alright? We already know Black Lotus and like a million other insane cards. I'm going to start off with Heritage Druid. Because if you ever played against an elf deck, I mean this might as well be Black Lotus over and over again. It's a green 1/1 elf. Tap 3 untapped elves you control, add green, green, green to your mana pool. They are not affected by summoning sickness. You just tap creatures that are elves, even with summoning sickness, and they produce green. So the more elves you play, the more mana you get. The more mana you get, the more elves you can play, which add more mana to play more elves until you run out of cards in your hand. I think this card is busted. Because of Heritage Druid, you can go from like basically 3 creatures in play to 20 in one turn. It's possible. It's happened to me more than once. All right, next up, okay, here we go. Incubation Druid. I'll do like, we'll do like a really good one and then a good one. A really good one, well, that's gonna be the pattern today. We have a green 1 generic 0/2 Elf Druid with also tap. Add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. Now, there's a few ways you can get counters on this through some other means, like if you have a counters deck of some sort, sure, throw some counters on your Incubation Druid. Or you can adapt it. You can do it the hard way. Green, green, 3 generic, adapt 3. If it has no counters on it, you put 3 counters on it. And all of a sudden, it's basically, it's like a Lotus field in some way. All right, Station Disaster with Soul Ring. Have you ever heard of this card before? Okay, this actually deserves the police siren. It's a 1 mana tap, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. You know, I don't know. I want to know in the comments section, do you understand how busted this card is? Do you have any damn idea? Oh man, this is the card that allows you to play the absolute crappiest cards in Commander on a regular basis because you can ramp them out with Soul Ring. It arguably is better than Black Lotus. It's banned in Legacy, it's banned in Oathbreaker, it's restricted in Vintage, completely, well, I mean, technically restricted in Commander, because you're only allowed to have 1 copy. Yeah, like, arguably this is better than Black Lotus, because it's repeatable mana. It's not this one-time shabam, especially if you do not intend on winning on turn 1. Okay, we'll go on with Jonathan with the, Elysian Carotid. Okay, we got the Elysian Carotid, green 1 generic 1/1. It's a plant. Add 1 mana of any color when you tap it. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, add 2 mana of any 1 color instead. So basically 2 mana tap, get something even bigger. You get them big beaties out, get the big beefy creatures out, to ramp out even more big beefy creatures. Oh yeah, Metalworker is insane. I was once put in the situation, do I counter... I have like Force of Will in hand. Do I counter the Metalworker, or do I counter the thing that the Metalworker comes into play? I made the noob mistake of waiting to counter the thing that the Metalworker puts in play. Because after I used that, Force of Will, I didn't have an answer to the next thing that they put in play. Or the next thing after that. Or the next thing after that. I got beat to hell by this damn thing. It's tap, reveal any number of artifact cards in your hand. You add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool for each card revealed this way. They had like 12 mana in 1 turn. It's completely stupid. Okay, next, Burning Tree Emissary. Burning Tree Emissary is a Gruul hybrid 2/2 human shaman. Enters the battlefield, you add a green and a red. Basically pays for themselves. Great investment. Okay, let's move on to a super chat. We got Rated Lex, Lake of the Dead. Who needs swamps anyway? You're right. Lake of the Dead. If Lake of the Dead would enter the battlefield, sacrifice a swamp instead. If you do, put a Lake of the Dead onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into its owner's graveyard. Tap, add a black, or you can tap, sack a swamp to add 4 black mana to your mana pool. That's right, those swamps turn into super Black Lotuses. I mean, that's how you could look at it. Like, tap, sack my... And it doesn't even say tap sacrifice a tapped swamp. Or sorry, an untapped swamp. You can tap it for mana. Effectively, you're getting 5 mana out of the deal. It's insane. Very, very, very strong card. Will Anderson with the Sanctum Weaver. Disgusting infinite combo piece. It is. Oh, this is, what's it called? For an Enchantress deck. Green 1 generic 0/2. Tap, add a green of any one color where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's an enchantment itself! So it's already adding 1. So you put any more enchantments on the battlefield, it's all gravy. I mean, do people play Simic Enchantress? Get that Rhystic Study out there, that propaganda. You just punish people. They can't attack you, you draw cards off of them, and you get extra mana. Next super chat from Alpha Nerd with Knotville Mystic. What on earth is a Knotville Mystic? Oh, sorry, Not Vine. Not Vine Mystic. Must be a knot. We have, for Naya, it's a 2/2 Elf Druid. Pay 1 tap, get Naya mana. It is ramp, so you're getting pay 1, get 3 back. That's essentially what it is. All right, not bad. And it is a lot. B. Jackstraw with the Seething Song. You like combo? You like your rituals? Have all the rituals you want. Red 2 generic, add 5 red mana to your mana pool. But it's for those combo players. These are the people. You don't invite them over. You see a Seething Song? Does anyone play Seething Song out there fairly? I don't know. Maybe it exists. I don't believe it. Very, very, very broken card. Abe. Thank you very much, Abe. Vintage Staple, the Coveted Jewel. Also, Commander Staple, right? 6 mana artifact, enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. That's actually 3 cards. That's a lot of cards. And tap, add 3 mana of any one color. This card looks insane. Would this be like S tier of casual commander? You get 3 mana of any one color, and you get an Ancestral Recall. It's literally Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus. They got together. They got drunk one night. They had a baby. They decided to keep it. This card's broken. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls attack you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of Coveted Jewel. You steal their baby! Unbelievable. And then they get to draw the 3 cards and have the Black Lotus. Okay, next up, we'll look at... you guys have so many great cards. Georth, Cabal Coffers. When combined with Urborg and turning everything into a swamp, the Cabal Coffers adds tons of mana. Pay 2, tap, add a black for each swamp you control. So, you got 4 lands in play, add 4 mana. Do you really need that Urborg? If you don't, this card is like a little clunky. Like, if you only have like 2 swamps out in Cabal Coffers, I mean, you're only adding 2 mana. So you need like 5 mana before you get this going. The Urborg is very necessary, but this can add an obscene amount of manas. Station Disaster. Tolarian Academy, there's a reason it's banned. The Academy! There's like almost nowhere I can play this damn card. I love this card. Tap out a blue to your mana pool for each artifact you control. The Academy worked with time until time ran out. Yeah, they're never gonna unban this damn thing. Too strong! Too strong. You just like, come on, you know, this combined with Soul Ring is already busted. Toilet Duck with Apprentice Wizard. We got blue 1 generic 0/1 human wizard. Pay blue tap, add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Blue ramp. Are you a blue deck? Do you need ramp? You need it in form of creatures because artifacts are just too easy. Well, we got the Apprentice Wizard. They'll work for you. And some random dude, Cami of the Whispered Hopes. Uh-oh. Cami of... Oh, no, it's just of Whispered Hopes. It is a green 2 generic 1/1 spirit. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters we put on a permanent you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that permanent instead. And you tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is Cami of Whispered Hope's power. Hold on. Add X mana of any one color. Oh! This thing gets bigger, and then you add more mana. And you could use that mana to get it bigger. And then maybe untap it and add more mana. Markzilla with the Cryptghast. I don't remember this card. I thought it was an Extort card. Black 3 generic 2/2 with Extort. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, oh, and you add an additional black to your mana pool. That is very creative. So it turns everything into like Black Ancient Tomb. No wonder this thing's like $10. No wonder it's $10. You need Ancient Tomb. You don't want to spend 80 bucks on Ancient Tomb. Here's Ancient Tomb at home. In fact, he's in a tomb. He was born in the tomb. There's this card I found out. There's a card I just learned about. It's called Black Lotus. Yeah, just in case we need, let's get the OG Black Lotus. There we go. 0 mana, add 3 mana of any single color to your mana pool. Then is discarded. Tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt. Has anyone ever played with a Black Lotus? Oh no, maybe many people did, like in Vintage Cube or something like that. Yeah, I have as well. Does anyone play No Ban Commander? That's the real question around here. Alpha Nerd with the Great Henge. The Great Henge. It looks like it costs 9 mana. It really isn't. That's just a complete BS lie. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So you got like a 5 power creature plays, got 5 less mana. Tap, add green, you gain 2 life. Because who doesn't like life gain here? So it adds mana and it gains life. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on it and draw a card. This actually is insane too. Wasn't this a staple in Pioneer? Oh, it's got to be a staple everywhere. This is a $50 card. This is obscene. It's green Soul Ring. I don't even... How do we compare this? What do we compare this to? It's a green Soul Ring that gains life. And when creatures are played, you draw cards. It's just bananas. Geriatric Gaming says, I actually owned and played with the Power 9 back in the day. Sold them a long time ago. Yeah, I regret that now. Yeah, that is one of the most common stories to the end of time. People had the Power 9 and they sold it. Because you never knew when this game was just going to collapse. Like, it's going to die at some point, but then it just never does. It was the only TCG, well, maybe not the only TCG, one of very few at the time that, like, you know, held on, stood the test of time in the long run. I like this one, Mishra's Workshop. I like it because I think it's absolutely insane that this card is legal in Commander. Tap, add 3 to your mana pool. Even if it's only for artifacts, that is broken. Though he eventually came to despise Tokasia, Mishra listened well to her lessons on clarity of purpose. Unlike his brother, he focused his mind on a single goal. Yeah, pumping out that mana. Get them artifacts out. It's Black Lotus. It's Colorless Lotus. Perpetual Colorless Lotus. Who doesn't like color? I mean, Soul Ring is effectively Colorless Lotus. It's just a smaller Colorless Lotus. Next up, we got Lloyd with Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia. Can go off pretty easily. We have a green 2 generic 2/3 Elf Druid Scout. Tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activated abilities of a creature or creature card. And whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, put a counter on Gwenna, Eye of Gaia and untap it. It's like a 1-card combo. You tap, add 2 mana, cast a creature, untap the thing, and it's bigger. Tap, add, oh no, but it's only, sorry, okay, the mana doesn't scale. We looked at some other cards where the mana scales, but you still add 2 more mana. So if you were like really low to the ground, you easily are just gonna dump it. Not a bad card at all. Rite of Flame. Adds 2 mana immediately. Red sorcery. Add double red to your mana pool. Then add a red to your mana pool for each card named Rite of Flame in each graveyard. That's right, including your own. Not a good commander card at all. Period. Is anyone playing with Rite of Flame in their deck? Does anyone have in the graveyard? Anybody? You have your 1 Rite of Flame. I mean, I guess it's not bad, right? I mean, it's 1 red, add 2. Do you know, maybe it is? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. This actually is fine. I mean, it's technically ramp. You're not gonna say anything bad about ramp. Any ramp is good ramp. Alpha Nerd. Does doubling cube count? I will be the judge of that. Doubling cube, 2 mana artifact, pay 3, tap. Double the amount of each type of mana in your mana pool. Sure. I'll allow it. It will add more mana than you had before. It doesn't really add mana in the first place. Let's see, hold on. Best MTG cards that add 2 or more mana. It will add 2 or more mana under the right conditions. Beanpot with Dark Ritual. Black, add triple black. I think this card can be fair. I think they should redesign Dark Ritual to just the mana can only be used to cast creature spells. Like, how would that be broken? I think that was the original purpose of Dark Ritual. Look, there was no Storm in beta. You go back to Alpha and Beta, there was no Storm deck, okay? There were some combo decks, but they didn't involve black as far as I'm concerned. They involved green and red. But if you redesign this as like add the 3 mana can only be used to catch creature spells, then it's literally you're just spending 2 cards to get one out faster, which I think was the original purpose of Dark Ritual. I'm surprised they never explored that design. They're just like, okay, this card's broken. We're never reprinting this thing ever again. There's mana burn too. Yeah, you didn't spend that mana. You're gonna feel it. Don't waste. Waste makes pain. Mark Wright. With the since I missed the silver bordered stream, Black or Lotus? Illegal card! Tap, tear Black Lotus into pieces. Add 4 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Place this ability as a mana source. Remove the pieces from the game afterwards. Just given that it's illegal, you got your card on the show, but I'm going to donate the super chat to somebody else. We'll give it, we'll go look at another Lotus, the Nyx Lotus from Turayawat. Nyx Lotus. There's Lotuses on Nyx? 4-mana legendary artifact. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, choose a color. Add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. That is sweet. I am very much in line with with devotion. I'm devoted to always to one color when I play my decks. I'm going to add a lot of mana. On the other hand, I don't like that it enters the battlefield tapped. You're basically taking a turn off when you play this card. But at the same time, it would be like a free turn if you played it. Like, play my Nyx Lotus, tap, add even more mana than I started with. We got... Oh, no. Next, we do another freebie. Stranger Candy with Battle Him. Please. Well, you said please. Okay, red, 1 generic instant. Add green. Sorry, add red to your mana pool for each creature you control. In a token deck, that'll be wild. A church is just a wood and walls. A congregation is the faithful praising the angels. Play that in your token deck, and you'll make 1 million mana. 1 million space bucks. Jay, what do you got for us? The Mox Lotus. This might be like the Lotus Kindred deck. Get out of here with these. These are not real cards. With 15 mana, tap, add infinite mana to your mana pool. And then with that infinite mana, I can pay 100 of it to add 1 mana of any color to my mana pool. You don't lose life due to mana burn. Mana burn didn't even exist back. I'm sorry, I guess mana burn still existed back then. Okay, Marthar with Circle of Dreams? Circle of Dreams Druid. It is triple green, 2/1, elf druid. Tap, add a green for each creature you control. It is Gaia's Cradle, the creature. Very good card. I'm surprised that it took so long for a card like this to come out. How good is it? It's $6 good as of the making of this video. Abzo with Braid of Fire. This is a red. I can tell some of you people are on the rituals. Some of you are on the mana dork side. Some of you are on the artifact side. Some of you are on the ritual side. Red, 1 generic enchant. Oh, it's an enchantment though. Cumulative upkeep, add a red to your mana pool. This card is just busted. How is this fair? I guess you get nothing on the turn it comes into play. You get an extra red the next turn, and then it just goes insane after that. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put an age counter on it, and then you get mana. Oh no, but you can only use it at your upkeep because you can't float the mana to your main phase. Ah, that's the catch. So it's like, I'm gonna ramp out this big creature, and then your friends say, you lost that mana. It's already gone. You can only spend it on instants. Well, mana burn don't exist anymore. You know, this card benefited from a rules change. Benefited. Platonic Liquid. You got Shizuku, Caller of Autumn. Shizuko, the Caller of Autumn. Green, 1 generic. It's a legendary Snake Shaman, 2/3 creature. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player adds green to their mana pool. This mana doesn't cause mana burn. Okay, thank you for reminding me. We got everyone in here reminding us about mana burn here. Until end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from that player's mana pool as phases end. Now that is great. Now this gives it to everybody though. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they get the triple green. How does this work in Commander? Like, let's say I don't have a green deck. Do I get the green mana? Like, am I allowed to have green mana floating in my mana pool, or does it turn into colorless? Like, I don't know the rules well enough to know what this card does. I don't play with anybody that, they would give me their mana. But I guess it's fine. Yes, I get the mana. Okay, I'm gonna just assume that. Anyway, everyone gets Black Lotus for green. The Green Lotus. It bad? It doesn't look so bad. You're allowed to use it. All right, next let's look at Larvismi with Mana Geyser. Unless it went already. It has not. It's a red 3 generic sorcery. Add a red for each tap land your opponents control. You want to tap out? Big mistake. Double big mistake. Not only can you not defend yourselves, you've set off my geyser, and it's gushing. We got the Cooler King with Orcish Lumberjack. Oh, yeah. We've seen Orcish Lumberjack a ton on the show lately. I used to get turn to Urnham de Jins with this card back in the good old days. Red 1/1, that turns every land you have into another Black Lotus. Tap, sack a forest. Sorry, not any land, your forest. Add 3 mana in any combination of red or green to your mana pool. Okay, we got rules. Teach me, Arcanus, about the rules. In Commander, colored mana that was not in your commander's identity used to turn into colorless mana, but they have since changed it, so now it goes as the color it is. There, that makes sense. Look, even a seasoned competitive player like me doesn't intuitively know what the hell mana does in Commander. I think it's just fine that you just get to use whatever mana if it's given to you. Aaron with Megatron. The Megatron Tyrant. Oh, it's... Again, these cards look like so much like custom cards. This looks like some sort of card Majra would make. You know, like how he makes Disney, and that this is just like Transformers. There's no difference at all, really. Black, white, red, 3 generic for a 7/5. More than meets an eye for Mardu and 1 generic. Your opponents can't cast spells during... combat. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may convert Megatron. If you do, add a colorless. For each 1 life, your opponents have lost this turn. So basically, you smack your opponent back into last week, and then you're going to add like 10 mana to your mana pool. That's actually pretty crazy. Very nice card. Alpha Nerd with Cabal Ritual. Hold on, take this one. It sounds like a ritual sound effect. I cast Ritual. And I get mana. Black 1 generic. Add triple black to your mana pool. Also Threshold. Which means if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you can add 5 black to your mana pool instead. That's how it works around here. We've got a name I can't pronounce. How about Terrarion? Absolutely, we can have Terrarion. 1 mana, enters battlefield tap, pay 2 tap. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors. But when Terrarion is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you get a little value out of it, alright? You got a little ritual with some buyback around here. Michael, did you really think we've made it this far into the show without seeing Soul Ring? Yeah, that's one of those obvious ones. But thanks for the suggestion anyway. Yeah, we looked at it already. Let's see. That's definitely not a ritual sound effect for black cards, though. Well, maybe if you're the black player. Okay, Paul Rogg. Gemstone Array is the best battery, no more mana burn. 4 mana, pay 2, put a charge counter on Gemstone Array, remove a charge counter from Gemstone Array, add 1 mana of any color in your mana pool. I'm disqualifying this. This is like a little too much assembly. I mean, in theory, it can add a lot of mana. If it was like pay 2, put a charge counter, and then you removed it, add 2 mana, I think I would be fine with it. This is a little too much assembly required. Okay, let's then look at a super chat coming from Alpha Nerd, Rasheen. Menderer? Some sort of... It's a giant shaman. Also looks like a tree, damn it. It's a Gruul 3 generic 4/4 giant shaman. Tap, add quadruple colorless to your mana pool. That is quite extreme. But spend this mana only on costs that contain X. Ah. You need that X mana to be fulfilled? Well, we got the Rasheen Menderer to help fulfill it, I guess. Fulfills the prophecy. Janfred, Castle Garenbrig. There's a battlefield tapped unless you control a forest. You can tap to add a green, or you can pay 4 mana, tap, add 6 green, spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activated abilities of creatures. This card sees play, or does it still see play? In Amulet Titan, just to get a Primeval Titan out. You have 4 mana, well, that's all you need. You only need 4 mana to get your, cast your Primeval Titan. Or maybe I'm not thinking of it. Maybe it's Titan Shift. Amulet Titan doesn't have many forests, or very few, or maybe none. Let's see. What do we got next? Lloyd! Meeting of the 5. What 5? Someone had to mention it. And it will be you. Wooburg, 3 generic for a sorcery. Exile the top 10 cards of your library. You may cast spells with exactly 3 colors from among them this turn. Add double Wooburg. That's a lot of mana. Spend this mana only to cast spells with exactly 3 colors. That's all. That is the ritual of all rituals. Can anything add more mana than this? Because this is literally adding 10 mana to your mana pool. A little bit of a restriction, but like not really, right? Like not at all, in fact. Henrik with Demir Aqueduct. This is a lame suggestion, but it counts, actually. Okay, it enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you return a land you control to your hand, and it itself will add a blue and a black mana to your mana pool. There you have it. How to get 2 mana in 1 land. I know there are some people that really like these lands, because in their mind, they don't have to put more lands in their deck, because some of their lands add 2 mana by themselves. So like a hand of 2 lands of like Island Demir Aqueduct, that's 3 mana. Who else plays with that logic? If it's at the cost of tempo, you're taking a turn off, remember? You're taking a turn off to play this card. Drago! Jessica, have we seen Savage Ventmaw yet? Nope. You love the Savage. You love dragons, do you? We got a green, red, 4 generic, 4/4 dragon flying. When it attacks, you add 6 mana? Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. This is ridiculous. I was always wondering, how do you cast all your dragons? Like, dragons are so clunky and expensive. You just play the Savage Ventmaw. Savage Ventmaw will cast everything for you. You can play Channel Fireball the old-fashioned, like, the hard way. Okay, we've got Alpha Nerd with Battle Hymn. Did we do this one? I know we did a hymn already. Yeah, we did this one. So we will donate the super chat to Excited Raichu, Apex of Power. Raichu is always excited. Also, it's very fitting. Your name is Raichu, and also you have this like sort of electric card. We have a red 7 generic sorcery. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until in turn, you may cast spells from among them. If this spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any color. That'll blow your opponent's socks off. Platonic Liquid on the Karoo lands. It's not taking a turn off, though. You return a tapped land to your hand. It's just a tap land. Yeah, but you don't add mana with this thing. You're not curving out the way I want you guys to. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we got Clark Clan Ironworks. Has anyone broke this? What are you talking about? This is like a supremely broken card. Clark. Oops. I think just look up Ironworks. Ironworks. There's not that many Ironworks cards. This thing's banned in Modern. It's a 4-mana artifact. Sack an artifact, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. And if you play with those artifacts where they when they go to the graveyard, you draw a card, that's value. You draw cards, you replay cards, that's value. Then you sack them for more mana. You get more cards. Also, there's cards like when this enters the battlefield, bring an artifact back from your graveyard back to the battlefield. There's so many combos that can be made with this card. I would not be surprised if there is some busted artifact commander deck out there. Although I cannot say where this belongs in Commander. Ironwork is bonkers. Yeah, exactly. Bonkers tier. Yeah, but has anyone broken it yet? Well, in Modern, it is broken. It was broken by a pro call named Matt Nass, and he basically single-handedly got the card banned. So it's banned there. Maybe in Commander it's a little bit more fair because you only get one. You can only have one in Commander, and that's it. But if you need that one, you know where to get it from. You get it from FusionGamingOnline.com, the place where... Ooh, Smuggler's Copter. I feel very sorry for everyone who did not buy their Smuggler's Copters when they had the chance. I owned mine from like 7 years ago, so I didn't miss out on anything. You can get Ironworks, you get your Smuggler's Copters while supplies last. You can also get your Lost Caverns of Ixalan cards. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Just in case the cards got bumped up in price because of popularity and short supply, you can at least save some money by getting 5% off using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. You get 1 to 4 cards from them. You can get as many as you want to play any format you want on Magic the Gathering. What do they got? On Magic Online, you got Standard, you got Pioneer, you got Modern, Legacy, Vintage. That's right, we got a lot of formats that MTG Arena does not. The paper formats. And you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_BA8. And now back to Wild cards that had 2 or more mana. Black Lotus, the OG of OGs. Yeah, we looked that one already though. Don't worry, we got that one. Next, who has not got one yet? Well, let's go with Ree. I don't know if Ree got one yet. Mana Echoes. Echo it is. It is a red 2 generic enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may add an amount of colorless equal to the number of creatures you control that share a creature type with it. This can go insane. So if you're just, I mean, this is basically for any sort of Kindred deck. You're playing something with the same creature type. It's, you add 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Just be careful. Make sure that your board hasn't gotten wiped, or else you're gonna get wiped. How has no one said Gaia's Cradle yet? Because if you want to get noticed on this show, you'd be gambling to choose to pick a card that's this popular. Okay, Legendary Land. Tap, add a green to your mana pool for each creature you control. Is there a green deck that does not want to play this? I mean, I guess if you have no creatures in your deck, it's pretty useless. Yeah. It's good for the Sliver deck. It's good for the Elf deck. It's good for the Kithkin deck? I don't know. I don't know what else will play this card. You got creatures, you play green spells, you're going to want the Gaia's Cradle. It's effectively the Tolarian Academy of Green. Except it's legal. Completely 100% legal. Oh my god, the Carpet of Flowers. This is such a hoser. This hoses me hard. This card is... I want to say it's broken. Okay, it's a green enchantment. During your main phase, you may add up to X mana of any one color in your mana pool, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. Like, you get 1 mana for just your opponent having 1 island in play. And then if they have more than that, this thing scales like crazy. Like, what are they going to do? Not play their lands? Like, they need their damn mana. They need to play their lands. They need to curve out too. And what I think is really disgusting about this card is you can choose the main phase. Like, hold on. It says during your main phase, you may choose. Oh, they errated this card for some reason. It's at the beginning of each of your main phases. If you haven't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. That is weird. Why did they do that? It should just say, maybe it just didn't specify the main phase. I have no idea how it worked back then, but yeah, very good. Very good card. Pacers fan forever. With Growing Rights of Itlamok. This is Guy's Cradle at Home, right? Green 2 generic legendary enchantment. Doesn't it flip? Okay, it's gonna flip. Let's look at the flip side. Maybe we should read the first side. Just in case you might want the first side. We got a little... Look at the picture. We got a bunch of mushroom creatures. Or whatever. Okay, enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from among them. Put it into your hand. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform into Gaia's Cradle number 2. Tap out a green or tap out a green for each creature you control. Technically a little bit better than Gaia's Cradle. Because you have no creatures in play, still adds a green. Molly Swag says, I think the wording limits the card activations of Carpet of Flowers. Oh, come on. Are you telling me they didn't have room for more words? BS. I could show you many cards in Magic's history where they crammed the words in there. They had room. They had room and they knew what they were doing. Okay, next, welcome to Jurassic Park. I don't know why I'm writing the whole thing. Oh, I didn't even write the 2. Welcome to... Here it is. It's welcome to ... Then you have to fill in the blanks. What kind of park is this? What was that sound? What did I hear? How do I get off this island? Okay, green, 1 generic. Chapter 1, for each opponent, up to 1 target non-creature artifact they control becomes a 0/4 wall artifact creature with Defender for as long as you control a saga. Chapter 2, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample, gains haste. And also Chapter 3, destroy all walls. Who plays with walls in 2023? Exile this saga, return to the battlefield. And it's got tap, add a green for each dinosaur you control. Feel the power of my dinosaurs. What the hell? The RMS Titanic? Was that that has to be the Doctor Who card. I don't know if I read this thing properly. Okay, it is a red 3 generic 7/1 ship in space. How they keep oxygen in there, I don't know. It's got flying and trample. And when RMS Titanic deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. And create that many treasure tokens. I don't remember anyone going back to retrieve the treasure of the lost Titanic. It sank, and then that was it. You know, that whole Titanic movie with that ruby coming out of a safe, that's all BS. That was not real. Okay, Johnny W for life with Finned Horn Elder. Pondering life's choices. Green 2 generic for a 1/1. Simple and clean. Tap, add double green your mana pool. Does it create mana or does the treasure create the mana though? The treasure does create mana. Every treasure creates mana as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna count it. Next we got... Oh, that's an oldie. Gilded Lotus. Did anyone play this? I knew that this used to be a Commander staple. It's $1 now. Because I don't think anyone likes this card anymore. It's just been completely pushed out of the format. It's like 5 mana, artifact, tap, add 3 mana of any one color. That used to be like an S tier casual Commander staple. And now even the casual Commander players just have better. Danny Luo. Welcome, Chromatic Orrery. Oh, did we do that one already? Chromatic Orrery. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so this is a 7 mana legendary artifact. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Tap, add 5 mana to your mana pool. 5 colorless. But it can be anything. Pay 5, tap, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. This thing's just busted. Majra plays, I still play it, but I'm a filthy artifact player in reference to Gilded Lotus. Well, if you can ramp into it, it's fine. How about the Signets? You know, they count, but they're pretty lame, to be honest. Okay, hold on. We've got Summon 2/4C with Cadaverous Bloom. We have a green, black, 3 generic enchantment. Choose and discard a card and remove it from the game. Add black, black, or green, green to your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source. Seems like a very underrated card. I don't really hear it. I mean, it used to be a combo card like way back in the day. Way back in the day. Republic Services with the Bog Witch. Oops. Oh yeah, the black ritual thing. Creature. Black 2 generic. Pay a black tap. Discard a card to add triple black to your mana pool. Dark ritual on a creature. Next super chat from Platonic Liquid. But have we found a way to break? Okay, now I think you're trolling me. We got Ashnod's Altar. If you ever show up for like bad combos that actually work, this literally is in like 30% of the combos. 3 mana artifact, sacrifice a creature, add double colorless to your mana pool. But maybe one person out there has never heard of it. You never know. Duke Firebird. Have we seen Sarah's Sanctum? No, we haven't. Basically the ugly duckling of the Tolarian Academy guys Cradle bunch. Tap, add a white to your mana pool for each enchantment you control. But in the right deck, I mean, this is great. It's just, this is more fair. Because, like, you know, enchantment decks aren't really all that amazing. It's harder to build, way harder to build around. You gotta load your deck with millions of enchantments. But it's a great card. Laser Lemming. Let's waste not around here. Waste not, a fan favorite amongst many casual players. It was built by casual players for casual players. Black 1 generic enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add double black to your mana pool. And then whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, you draw a card. This seems like a really good combo with like not Time Twister. Wheel of Fortune. How many cards can you draw? No, and you would have to draw. Maybe it's not a good combo. You'll draw like what, 28 cards? Now all of a sudden you're like, I don't have so many cards left in my deck, damn it. Speaking of waste not, how about the Bone Miser, says Evan. The Bone Miser. Black 4 generic 4/4 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, it's literally waste not the creature. You add double black. And whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, you draw a card. Is that how it works, this last one? No, the last one was when an opponent discard a card. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, it's basically cycle. This has like way more potential, actually. Like way more potential. Because now, whenever you're discarding your stuff, you don't lose. You don't lose anything that you discard. Gotta get. Oh, we did the Gilded Lotus. That was a bit late on that one, Alpha Nerd. Okay, we're gonna donate that one to the crowd. We'll give it to Larry Law with Composite Golem. It is a 6 mana 4/4 Golem, and you can sack it to add Wooburg. Spend that Wooburg wisely. Okay, we'll go to Alpha Nerd's next best card, the Light Ritual. Does that mean it adds like half a mana? It's just it's not a heavy ritual, it's just a light ritual. Hold on, Light Ritual. This is not, I don't know what this card is. Light Ritual. I'm spelling it right. Such card does not exist. How many light rituals are there? Is it lightly ritual? I'm going to look up for L. Where's light? No, I can't find this thing. Sorry about that, Alpha Nerd. Gonna donate that one too. I mean, you're just a donation machine today. We'll give it to B. Jackstraw with Dockside Extortionist. Now, this one I'm going to count because what are the odds you're not going to produce more than 2 treasure tokens out of this? Red, 1 generic for a 1/2 Goblin Pirate. Enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. It didn't count the enchantments too? I didn't realize that. Had no idea. Light Ritual is likely a custom magic card. Oh, that's possible. Or it's an AI card. It's possible. There's a few people out there that have, like, they named, like, fake cards on the show. Because they, like, just look up maybe the name of the show onto Google. Like, you know, MTG cards that had 2 or more mana. And then, like, a fake card shows up. That happened at least once. Because I looked it up on Google. At the time. It's like, I can't find this on Scryfall. And we found it on Google, and it was, like, clearly an AI-generated card. That was too bad. Next, let's look at 16s. Dalakos. The Crafter of Wonders. A red, blue, 1 generic, 2/4. Oh, this is that Merfolk Artificer that when you tap, you add double colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activated ability of artifacts, and also equip creatures you control. They have flying and haste. That is a very weird second ability. What do Merfolk know about flying and haste? Although more and more Merfolk are flying these days for some reason beyond my understanding. Okay, Paladin Mirror. That is definitely a real card. And it hasn't been mentioned yet. For the mirror fam out there. You like your mirrors? Do you also like mana? This is probably the best mirror at 3. You know what's the problem with the mirrors is they're all 3 damn mana, which makes them insanely clunky. But this one gives you a little bit of payoff, because at least it's a 2/2 creature that also taps to add more mana. I like it. Urza Lord High Artificer. Do I count Urza? I'm gonna well, do I count Urza? I'm gonna disqualify Urza. You only makes 1 construct. So right out of the gates, it only makes 1. And it's like, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna have more than 1 artifact in play. It's close though, it's close. I'm gonna give it to Dockside. Dockside is $1 million. Because the odds of it missing are very, 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 very low. This one, it's conceivable you do not have any artifacts in play. Or none untapped anyhow. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section, should we include Urza or not? I would like to include, I love Urza. It's actually my favorite card so far mentioned on the entire show so far. Lightning Medic. We saw Metalworker, but we did not see Grim Monolith. 2 mana artifact. Does not untap during your untap phase, but you can tap to add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source. You can also pay 4 to untap the Grim Monolith. So if you can get a discount on the Grim Monolith or add extra mana to the 3 colors, you have infinite mana. It's just the trick of how to make it infinite. Okay, next we look at Bryce. Bryce's Garth One-Eyed. Might be one-eyed, but makes black lotuses. Alright, Wooburg for a 5/5. Human Wizard. Tap. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy. So you get to cast... So basically, Garth One-Eyed makes black lotuses. One of them. But if you blink it, he can do it again. That's the trick. You just blink your Garth. We did it. You know, we did Incubation Druid. You were there, Marks. I think you've been here since the beginning. You were there. No, the Mana Dork Mirror are 2 CMC. They may still be clunky, but they make up for it by being super cute. They do. It's how people treat the squirrels. These squirrels don't suck. They're cute. Okay, next, let's go with Station Disaster. Oh, yeah, we didn't do Nixos. A card a lot of people thought should be banned in Pioneer. Tap, add a colorless to your mana pool, or you can pay 2, tap, Choose a color, add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. Gonna add a bazillion mana. Really good for any devotion deck. It was born from devotion. Okay, next super chat we got from Alpha Nerd with mana reflection. What does it do? Green, 4 generic enchantment. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces twice of that mana instead. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think that's very, very good value. Okay, next we've got... Ooh, a Kerosene with Ancient Tomb. Okay, so, like, maybe to make a parallel, if you tap a permanent for mana, it produces twice that much mana. So, like, every land becomes Ancient Tomb, except you don't take damage. On top of that, for all the cards that we've seen today that add 2 or more mana, you still double that. It's not like you're gonna add 2 mana with all this stuff. You instead add 4, or 6, or 8, or 10. You add Wooburg, you get 10 Wooburg. You add double Wooburg, you get quadruple Wooburg. What does mana reflection count but not Urza? Because I make the rules around here. Hey, I let the community decide on Urza. I'll give it to them. It's a close one. I'm gonna admit it's a little close. It's close. It's not a clear disqualification. Okay, what was the next one? Oh yeah, Ancient Tomb. Tap, add double colorless. Ancient Tomb deals 2 damage to you. For some reason, I didn't think about this card when building my commander deck. I still don't own it. And looking at $80, I don't know if I want to own it. They're like, you know what? Maybe we can just step we can step aside with this one. Okay, next up we've got the Cooler King. Tinderwall. Oh, this card. It's a green 0/3 plant wall with Defender. You can sack it to add double red to your mana pool, or you pay a red, sack it. Tinderwall deals 2 damage to target creature it's blocking. It's the only ritual that also acts like removal. Oh no, that's actually not true. Garth One-Eyed also can act like removal because he does what's it called? He creates terrors. I'm not set up to do a poll right now. Just gonna have to look at the comment section. Yeah, look at that comment section. Urza's Set? Is that an actual card? No, such a thing does not exist. Okay, how about I present you with all my personal hot tech, the Energy Tap. Tap that energy. Love it because it's disgusting and emery, is it? Okay, we have a blue sorcery. Tap target creature you control. Add an amount of colorless mana equal to that creature's casting cost to your mana pool. That is a very bizarre ritual. The perhaps only ritual in blue? At like even sorcery or instant speed? Very, very unusual. You tap your big Leviathan and cast another Leviathan. Tap my Leviathan with my energy tap. Get the second Leviathan. Okay, Pacers fan forever. Elvish Archdruid is a busted card. I'm just surprised there's not... I mean, we did go through a lot of elves today, but I'm surprised more elves weren't mentioned. Green, 1 generic for a 2/2. Other elves get +1/+1, which is very nice. And also tap, add a green for each elf you control. So effectively, Guy's Cradle for the elf deck. You know? It's Guy's Cradle for elves. Nothing wrong with that. Mana Drain is a ritual in blue. Oh yeah, that's true actually. I think a few people mentioned Mana Drain. It is true. It's blue, instant. Counter target spell at the beginning of your next main phase. Add an amount of colorless equal to that spell's mana value. Very likely you're going to get something big with this. Next super chat from Alpha Nerd. Gauntlet of Might. Gauntlet of Might is a 4-mana artifact. Red creatures. Oh, it's a anthem for red creatures. But whenever a mountain is tapped for mana, its controller adds red to their mana pool. This is a great card. This is fantastic. It's on the reserve list. And it is $150. So if you wanted it, well, hopefully your pockets are quite deep for it. All the Urza land? All of them? Yeah, all the Urza lands, I guess that's fair. Karn Legacy Reforged. It is a 5-mana golem. Is that what Karn is the entire time? He's a golem? Star. Power and toughness are each equal to greatest mana value among artifacts you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, add colorless for each artifact you control. That's insane. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Like, who cares? Until end of turn, you don't lose this. You don't lose it either? You just perpetually have colorless mana accumulating in your mana pool? Man, the colorless decks, they have all the fun. Very, very busted. Okay, next up, we've got Jitsuku with Selvala. Heart of the Wilds. Oops, I spelled that horribly wrong. The one with the hat. Okay, we got green, 1 generic, 2/3 elf scout. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. Put something bigger in play, you get value. Green, tap, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And it's going to be at least 2 because, I mean, you got a 2/3 creature in the first place. Using your Emery, that blue ritual in your Emery deck, that's a bit weird. Okay, Markzilla is like, show me Marwyn, the nurturer. Marwyn, the green 2 generic 1/1 elf druid. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on Marwyn. Also tap it, add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power. So very quickly, it's gonna be 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. It accumulates. And if you can untap this elf, which you can do with like, what's the card that untaps the elves? Is it Wirewood Symbiote? There's something that's not an elf that untaps elves, which is weird. Okay, next up we have the Faithful Fool with Scepter of Eternal Glory. Uh-oh. Did I spell scepter right? Scepter of... It doesn't exist. Okay, hold on. Eternal Glory. Psh, stupid Scryfall. Couldn't understand the difference between R-E and E-R. Like, I don't blame you, Faithful Fool. I don't blame you at all for spelling it the way that you did. Google would have got it. Okay, 4 mana, legendary artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Also tap, add 3 mana of any one color. Activate only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. Beautiful. So basic lands, basically. We did Coveted Jewel. Great card. Reign of Filth. From Christopher B. We did Metalworker, Mr. Deadhead. We have a black instant. Each land you control gains sack this land, add black to your mana pool until end of turn. So, yeah, like every land, it's like Ancient Tomb, but you're gonna like lose your lands. But I guess if you have no intention of living beyond that turn, then it doesn't matter. Okay, Voluntarism is coming back with the Soul Bright Flamekin. This one works. Ho-ho! Things are heating up with this Shaman. It's a 2 mana 2/1, pay 2. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. If this is the 3rd time this ability has resolved this turn, you may add red to your mana pool. So you spend 6, get 8, you actually end up with 2. A very weird card, though. Steve Cooper. Scorched Ruins and a donation for everybody. Or one person. One lucky person. Scorched Ruins. What does this card do? It is a land. Comes into play, sack 2 untapped lands or bury Scorched Ruins. Why would I want to do that? Add 4 colorless mana to your mana pool. I'm just wondering, how do you break this card? Like, how do you get away with this thing? Like, how do we get this in play and not sacrifice squat? And actually, you still net mana, because, like, it's basically still a Soul Ring. Comes into play, you sack 2 untapped lands. Isn't this just like Lotus Field again? But it's colorless mana instead. Yeah, it's basically like Lotus Field. Can't remember how you dodge the Oh, you have to play something that kills off ETB triggers, like nothing ETBs anymore. Reserve list 2, sadly. Oh yeah, it is. It's a $40 card. I'm surprised. I'm surprised this is not a more expensive card. Looks amazing. Yeah, just stifle the thing. You could stifle it. I think the best is just play something where ETBs just don't trigger. Okay, next, let's look at Toilet Ducks, the core. Transforms from Matzalati. Well, yeah, give me the original card. Matzalati, the Great Door. Okay, this is the donation. 3 mana, legendary artifact. Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Also pay 4 tap, transform it. Only activate if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. So if you have Delirium. And it turns into the core. What is this like? Is this where everyone lives in the Matrix? Legendary land. Fathomless Descent. Tap, add X mana of any one color where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. This can be really disgusting. Add X mana of any one color where X is the number of permanent. This can add like, in Commander, this can add like 50 mana. Just do some stupid nonsense. Anyway, okay. We're now in the range of only super chats, but don't worry because Rhea is already donating to the rest of you. Donation to chat. Okay, who's gonna get the chat here? We're gonna give it to... I don't know if Ryan C got a card yet today. The Enigma Jewel. It is a blue legendary artifact. The Enigma Jewel enters the battlefield tapped. It can tap to add double colorless. Spend this mana only to activate abilities, however. A little sad to hear that part of this card. Craft was 4 more non-land cards with activated abilities. 8. What does that mean? A blue 8. Exile this artifact. Exile 4 or more from among other permanents you control and/or cards in your graveyard. Return this card transformed under its owner's control. Craft only as a sorcery. I don't understand this mechanic. But I do understand that you have a soul ring for activated abilities. Starfruit Gaming. Zaxara the Exemplary. This is a Sultai 1 generic. Forgot what this color combination was. 2/3 Nightmare Hydra with Death Touch. Tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 green Hydra creature token. Then put X +1/+1 counters on it. We can have 1 signet. Okay, we'll look at 1 signet. Do we have a signet here? We can have 1 signet to represent us all. I'm going to just look up signet. What's your favorite signet? Let me know your favorite signet in the description below. All right, we have Azorius Signet. You pay 2 mana. It is an artifact. You pay 1. You tap. You add 2 mana. It doesn't really feel like it's adding that much mana, though. I don't know. This might be a disqualification. You're literally just netting 1 mana. It filters mana more than anything. You know what? I'm disqualifying this damn thing. We didn't even add any mana. So we add 1 mana. LOL, I don't know any of the color combo names. Nothing? Azorius, Dimir, Rakdos, and then you have like the 3. I don't even like the 2 color combinations, you know? I like the Capenna names. Or not the Capenna, the Strixhaven names. I don't like Izzet. I like Prismari. Alright? I like that rolls off the tongue better. Screw Izzet. Is it any good? No. Prismari is better. Okay, Platonic Liquid with Empowered Autogenerator. It's your favorite mana jank. Empowered Mana... Oops, Autogenerator. Sounds like the name of an AI script. We have a 4 mana artifact. Empowered Autogenerator enters the battlefield tapped. But you also tap, put a charge counter on Empowered Autogenerator. Add X mana of any one color where X is the number of charge counters on your Empowered Autogenerator. They will add 1 mana at first, but it will compound like interest later. Very, very good card. Also very good in, like, very slow commander games. These got to go the long run. All right, Lion's Eye Diamond from Pacers Fan Forever. Lion's Eye Diamond. Where's the original? We're going to look at the original one. There we go. 0 mana artifact. Everyone thought this was crap back then. Little did they know that the future would have cards you could cast from your graveyard. Discard your hand, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool, play this ability as a mana source. Very, it's basically black. It's in Legacy, it's basically Black Lotus. Literally just Black Lotus. No difference. I shouldn't say it's no difference. I mean, you got to build your deck around it. Make sure you have flashback cards, people. Okay, hold on. We go now to Alpha Nerd. Alpha Nerd has one of my favorites, the Urza lands. Oh. Urza's Tower. Urza's Tower does add 3 mana if you have Urza's Power Plant and also Urza's Mine as well. Urza was in the construction business. Dustin Gadget Genius from Chen Fred. It's literally a kid. It's a blue, white, 2 generic, 2/3 human. There are soldiers more powerful than this kid. Or sorry, there are soldiers that have weaker stats than this kid. Like what is it? This kid is enormous. A 2/3 creature. Thraben Inspector is like a 1/2. This child can beat up an Inspector. Okay, tap, add double colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activated abilities of artifacts. Also, Friends Forever. You can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. That's very nice. That's very awe-like. All right, next we got the Flendermoose, Priest of Titania. Oh, did we do this one? Oh, no, we didn't. I don't think we did. Yeah, 2 mana, 1/1. Tap, add a green to your mana pool for each elf on the battlefield. It's another one of these guys' cradles for elves. J-Hogue with Altar of Shadows. Seven mana artifact. We gotta spend mana to even get to this point. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add a black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Altar of Shadows. Pay 7, tap, destroy target creature, then put a charge counter on Altar of Shadows. This is a lot of work. So you have to activate this twice. It's not like wait to my upkeep and then like, you put 1 charge counter on this. It's close. It's skirting the lines. Like, it eventually will add 2 or more mana. It can, I guess it can. Like, eventually it will do the job. Jordan's like, first time catching the stream live, but I watch your vids all the time. Drain Power is a very interesting way to get mana. You're your first time chatter, I'll give you your card. Drain Power. Alright, we got a blue sorcery. Target player activates a mana ability of each land they control, then empties their mana pool. Add mana to your mana pool equal to the type and amount of emptied. Add mana to your mana pool equal to the type and amount emptied from that player's mana pool this way. Is this even guaranteed? Drain Power. It's not mana drain, it's Drain Power. Target player activates a mana ability of each land they control, then that player loses all unspent mana. And you add the mana lost this way. So you just basically force them to add their mana. I guess in some way it could. In theory, possibly. Pacers Fan Forever with Rofellos. Llanowar Emissary. Oh yeah, is this... It's Band Commander. Double green, 2/1. Tap, add a green in your map pool for each forest you control. How do you get this thing out? You add 2 forests, so it's only going to be gravy from there. Yeah, another blue. Yeah, this was another blue ritual. What do you guys think? Can we make a show out of blue rituals? I don't think so. I have a feeling you guys would get really choked really quickly, but maybe it's possible. Okay, we got the Fledermoose. Fledermoose with Basil Sliver. Love it in my Sliver Commander deck. This is a black sliver. It's a 3-mana 2/2. All slivers have sack this creature, add double black to your mana pool. What are they, goblins? Basically, you're telling the slivers, all right, I'm sacking your ass, and you're gonna produce some mana for me here. This is how they do it. This is the goblin way. Sack goblins, get mana. Sack goblins, get something. No snipes today? Oh, there's been a few. Not many though. John, would Kydel chosen of Krufix count? Probably, but I will be the final judge of it. Kydel. Chosen of Krufix. We have a blue, green, 2 generic, 2/3 human wizard. Tap, add colors to your mana pool for each card you've drawn this turn. Some assembly required. I'm going to disqualify it. Some assembly required. You have to draw 2 or more cards. You will draw 1 naturally, but you're never guaranteed to draw 2. Okay, we'll give to someone who didn't get their, we'll give it to volunteerism, High Tide. For someone who didn't get Urza, High Lord Artificer, you will get High Tide. Blue, instant. Until end of turn, whenever a player taps an island for mana, the player taps an additional blue to their mana pool instead. Does it say instead? It doesn't. You just get that extra mana. That's it. Next up, we got Evan. Evan with Leyline Immersion. It is a green 3 generic. It's an aura. Enchant legendary creature. That is quite a bit of a risk. So they kill the damn thing. If someone's looking, you play that aura on your creature, someone's going to be at the table. It's like, I finally found something from my removal spell. Anyway, enchant creature has ward 2, so long as it resolved. And tap, add 5 mana in any combination of colors. Spend its mana only to cast spells. Hold on, what? Spend its mana... Oh... At first, I'm like, well, why wouldn't you cast spells? It's worded so weirdly. Usually, they do it like spend this mana only to activate abilities. So basically, you can't activate abilities with this card, which is fine. That's fair game. Come on, we don't all have activated abilities around here. Pacers fan forever with Mishra's Workshop. We did that one. See, there's a snipe. Yeah. I got super sniped. Yeah, exactly. We did. I think we did Mana Flare. We're donating the super chat. Oh, I don't think. Maybe we didn't do Mana Flare. Red 2 generic enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, they get an additional mana to their mana pool instead. They were trying to punish mana burn. They're trying to burn you down with mana back then. Anyway, now it's just pure upside. And we have Lloyd with Omnath. Locus of Creation? I think you mean creation? / all? What is this? Oh, you mean like one or the other? Okay, we'll go with Locus of Creation. This one enters the battlefield, draw a card. Landfall. Landfall enters the battlefield, you add 4, you gain 4 life. But if it's the second land, you get double Wooburg. So basically, fetch lands activate this. Play a fetch land, gain 4 life, sack the fetch land, get a land. You get 4 mana, which is pretty damn scary. Nate is like asking at the end, did we do Black Lotus? Yeah, we did Black Lotus. We got that one covered. We got it several times, in fact. Some people even mentioned the Blacker Lotus, which is the strange uncle of the Black Lotus on top of all the other ones. And with that, that's it for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And if you want to be here and be part of the show, you got to be here weekdays, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, December 20th to January 5th, we will do also a second show at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For everyone who's never been able to be part of Coffee and MTG, that's your moment. With the exception of Christmas. I won't do Christmas. I'll make it up on the weekend or something. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or use Super Chat to be part of the show. Because you guys are the show. And we got to thank everyone who's here in the morning to be part of that show. Like Toads, Platonic Liquid, Markzilla, Steve Cooper, Majra, Christopher B, Jackstraw, Pedgeman 3, Arcanus. We got Evan here. Who else is part of this show? Some1247C, Larvism. Martin, Starfield. Arcanus, Cooler, King, Dinglebag, Nate, Matt. Some124C, Duke, Fireberg, Jordan, Ree, because you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.